Okay, let's define two words, I guess. Magic lens. What is a magic lens? Okay, I've obviously used more lenses than I would ever dare to imagine, including owning them. What's a magic lens? A magic lens is a lens that transcends its own functionality to broad spectrum use. There are only that I can think of, and of course I didn't write them down. Oh my god, how horrible of me. It's like, I've only got 3,200 videos on magic lenses, and, I don't know how much I have to restate that. Like, one of them would be the 60mm 2.8 D series autofocus Nikkor. Another one, like, let's take Fuji for example, would be the 50 to 140 f2.8. Also the same thing, equivalent in Nikon, the newest 70 to 200 2.8. The universal lens. Basically, if you told a bivvy of hardcore pro shooters, like, you only have one lens and one camera, what's that one lens going to be? Let's say, 35mm of some sort. Like, mine would be like the 35mm f2 Zeiss Distagon. It's endlessly useful for everything. It's just a Swiss Army knife lens that it's magical. Now, all lens design is a trade-off. No lens design has everything. Like, just take the 50 to 140 Fujifilm lens. Perfect for wildlife, perfect wedding lens, equivalent 70 to 200mm 2.8, but in case of DX, it's a 50 to 140. It's incredibly fast, incredibly sharp. Yeah, I know, sharpness isn't everything, obviously, so everything in lens design is a trade-off. I'm certainly not going to say also that a zoom lens is ever going to beat an awesome prime lens in that focal. But I mean, there are magic zoom lenses just as there are magic prime lenses. 58mm Voigtlander, perfect for portraiture, perfect as a normal lens. Countless different 35mm lenses. There are these universal constant nodal points that actually exist, like a 135mm lens, 105mm lens. There's a lot of really great 105mm lenses. 85mm, certainly so the 35mm. 50mm, yes, not as much as you think. I mean, there are countless, endless millions of 50mm lenses out there, but these are the lenses that people should actually strive to own if they have broad spectrum interest in photography. Like the 60mm 2.8 D series Nikkor. Certain 300mm lenses, whether that be expensive or cheap depending on what it is you want to use. Say, I'm only a portrait photographer. I don't care about magic lenses that have divine attributes across the spectrum, like the 17 to 55 2.8 Nikkor for a DX crop sensor camera. That's perfect for wedding work. It's perfect for every day. Same thing with like the 18 to 55. These universal constant lenses that many of the mid-range zoom lenses are absolute garbage, and I only recommend a couple of them. In Fuji's case, the 18 to 55, also the 16 to 55, even though it's much more expensive and it doesn't have optical image stabilization. The 24 to 85 VRG Nikkor, the 17 to 55, the 24 to 70 2.8 G series Nikkor, which is the one lens that has made more photographers more money than any other single Nikon lens. Also the universal wide zooms like the Tamron 15 to 30, the 14 to 24, which is its equivalent. I have both of those made by Nikon. These are the universally useful lenses, and there are a lot of boutique lenses that are very narrow spectrum use. The last one that I acquired was like the 300mm f4 phase Fresnel lens, which the lens is overpriced. It's a boutique lens that doesn't have an enormous amount of people buying it because it's absurdly expensive, and it has a narrow spectrum of use for like photojournalism and lightweight, ultra lightweight sports action wildlife use. But those are what I have defined as the magic lenses, the ones that transcend their own focal and that are worth far more than they themselves cost, and are infinitely useful across a much broader spectrum of what you would generally assume to be its use range, like the 50 to 140. Wildlife, weddings, everyday sports action. I mean, that's an enormous broad spectrum lens. People could say, oh, well, that's a really expensive lens. It costs well over $1,300 for that lens. Like, yeah, but it covers an enormous spectrum of use. And when you have a lens like that, then that means that's 2 or 3 less lenses that you have to pack to cover the spectrum of what this lens does. So there are magic lenses across several different use spectrums. A means you have to carry less or own less. You don't have to change lenses as often. You're out in the field, don't need to pack as many lenses with you. They are worth far more than the sum of what it is that they're generally acceptable to use. Can you think of any other lenses that you think are magic lenses? I've listed off some of them. There are really only about a dozen of them. I know someone's going to mention some lens that I didn't think of. One of them, to me, also, because it's hard to have a magic lens, it's an ultra-wide lens, but one of them is the Fuji 16mm f1.4. Not only is that Fuji's best lens, and it's a perfect 16mm, which is a 24mm field of view equivalent, which is perfect for street and general landscape. The lens is absolutely incredible, too, in how it renders. But it also has incredibly close focus, and so for using that outdoors, it doubles not only as a landscape or general purpose street lens, but also as a don't have to remove it to do some sort of close-up slash macro work. And if you have good enough pixel pitch and sharp enough of a lens with enough megapixels on the sensor, even if you get super close, even if it's not macro close, you can crop the hell out of it that it is effectively a macro shot suitable for enlargement and framing. So that to me is another magic lens. And so these are the lenses that I am always constantly recommending based upon both hardcore existential and objective criteria, but also based upon the fact that they are worth more than the sum of their constituents of general implied usage. Kind of like the Jeep. Well, I forget who designed the Jeep. Someone's going to tell me who designed the Jeep. But the Army ordered the Jeep, and they thought it would be a general troop transport vehicle. But they found out that Jeep vehicle, was the most universally useful thing for like hauling ammo and weaponry and troops and going through the mud and up the hills. And the Army ended up ordering countless hundreds of thousands of Jeeps, as I recall, because the thing proved to be worth far more than its constituent implied use intent was. It's like, well, this is a Jeep. A Jeep is a very small troop personnel. Actually, I think it was technically called a personnel carrier. It could only hold a few people, but it was rough and cheap and simple and easy to make. But the soldiers on the field found out, hey, this little fucking thing is, universally useful for all sorts of crap. And they found out it was like the most universally useful damn vehicle on the battlefield. And so the Army's like, we want a few hundred more thousands of those things ordered. And so, it became the universal Swiss Army knife of automobile transport, and you used it for everything. And there are lenses that are basically like Jeep vehicles. Not like modern Jeep vehicles, which are kind of the same, but like the original Jeep vehicle. I think you know where I'm going with this analogy, and so those are the things that I try to recommend. But if someone asks me specific questions like, I strictly shoot weddings, what is the absolute best? And oftentimes a magic lens may not be the absolute best choice for someone that has a very narrow spectrum of use of what it is that they want to shoot. So I have to give non-subjective, logical, reasoned answers to questions in such regards. But for everybody else, it's like, well, it's great for this, this, and this. If you have a limited budget, this is one lens that's going to cover first base, second base, and third base. It's also the reason why I've got like 3 Swiss Army knives. I use them for everything. Cutting, this and that, screwdriver. I love my Swiss Army knives. So that's what a magic lens is to me after much, much, much thought over many years. So anyway, I thought I'd make a video about that. If you don't like the video, you can crucify me at the end of this, okay? Thank you for watching. Catch you later. I am definitely sleep deprived. I'm not getting enough sleep. I need to find some time to catch some sleep. It is actually hard answering all the emails that I get. It is like, I'll answer all of them, which is very rare, and I'll go, and then another, just like an avalanche of emails will pour in. I'm like, oh, damn. That's not a joke either. That's very truthful. Thanks for watching. Catch you later. Bye. Have I got bags under my eyes? Have I got bags under my eyes? I'm sleep deprived. Yeah, my eyes are going back and forth. That was a bit of a joke there. Thanks for watching. I need to get some sleep. Yeah, I definitely do need to get some sleep. Catch you later. Bye. I'm also moving very slowly. Oh. My knee still hurts, by the way.